Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. You guys know who I am by now. But if you're new here, grab your smartphone, please, and go ahead and launch your camera app. Point over the QR code like so. Touch the yellow lips just like so. And once you do that, you'll get my link to lots of great information just for you guys, which I know you're going to really appreciate. And what I want to tell you is that we added a brand new section. So if you actually go to the link tree, you'll see there's a new section here, tools for podcast hosts and guests. Definitely check that out. Some of my personal recommendations for tools that I personally use. And I know that you guys will definitely want to use them too. So definitely check that out. All right. You know how I do this. I start on a Saturday. I roll all the way through the week and I finish up on a Friday, which means we'll be finishing up Friday tomorrow, and we'll have a brand new master topic on Saturday. We have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks, so definitely stay tuned for that. I do want to thank you, whether you're here at 8 p.m. at night, 8 a.m. in the morning, 12 noon, 12 midnight, 3 a.m., 3 p.m. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much. And now what is it I do? So I'm John C. Morley. I am a serial entrepreneur, and I'm your podcast host, and I'm also a podcast coach and a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. And, ladies and gentlemen, I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and they're looking to get their story out to the world. Maybe they know the story, maybe they don't know the story, but they need to get a story out there, and they want to make people curious, because when you get people curious, guess what happens? They have conversations, and then they want to learn, and then they potentially want to do business with you. Yes, that's how it works. So let's get right into our master topic, shall we? Our master topic is Mastering VAK Combinations for Success, Show 45, episode number 6. And we're in series 2, which means we're in the second year. We're going to be on series 3 very soon. We'll be in the third year. This is incredible. All right. So talking about our topic for tonight, which is what I want to really work on, and that is, what is a kinesthetic stimuli? So people ask me all the time, John, what are kinesthetic, stimuluses or reactions? So kinesthetic sensations are those that have to do with movement of the body parts in respect to other parts like muscle force and effort. They really dig deep into sensation. Because these receptors are in the muscles, the skins, and the joints, and from central signals related to motor output. Now, when we think about kinesthetic sensations, let's talk about walking. Maybe doing that without looking at your feet, typing without looking at one's hands, or moving limbs with one eye closed, right? Or moving my hands with my eyes closed. So I think there is a question out there, and it's, how do people learn? And kinesthetic learning is when a child learns to use a swing or to ride a bike. They get the feel of it. I'm sure you've done that. I mean, we've all learned how to ride a bike by feeling, even if you're not a kinesthetic person. But remember, this show here tonight is not about the learning modalities. We're talking more about VAK. So that means that if we think about kinesthetic, there's kinesthetic expression, okay? And this is the body, its movements, compressions, expansions of the body parts. And so a kinesthetic sensation in psychology are senses of position and movement of the body. I mean, it's very simple. But what are 5 kinesthetic senses? So yes, we have them: balance, muscle tension, gravity, and effort. That's pretty interesting. So that means if I do walking, if I run, if I drive, right? If I dance, if I swim, I'm going to have a kinesthetic feeling. So what's a very simple way to highlight kinesthetic? Well, maybe best thing I can share with you is, let's pretend for a moment that you were to take your hand and just graze it through some soft and dry sand. What does that feel like? You know, the moment your hand touches the sand, you grapple with the sand. You feel it kind of going through your fingers, right in between. And when we get this, it's very interesting because our body reacts to it. It reacts to it. So kinesthetic is a very tactile feel, right? Kinesthetic deals with sports a lot because your body is fully engaged. It's in motion. Body kinesthetic personalities are able to connect with people in the way they move their body, right? Kinesthetic, right, is also a feeling, a sense, okay? And I think when we can understand that kinesthetic adds a new dimension to our lives. If I said to you tomorrow, you could wake up and you need to tell me one sense that you would just want to live without for one day, what would it be? Would it be touch? Would it be taste? Would it be hearing? Would it be sight? And I'd have to say, if the one that I'd have to pick, like just for a day, I don't want to lose any of them. I'm very grateful to have them. But I'd say it'd be hearing because I could still write, I could still get around, but I wouldn't be able to hear. So I knew it would be coming back in a day, so I could deal with that. But I don't want to lose any of my senses. I think I'm very blessed to have all my senses. And so, you know, they call it kinesthesia and proprioception. And lots of colleges and research has done so many different studies on this, okay? And you might be saying, gee, how? Well, our body feels something. And so feeling makes a connection to our brain. Now, whether it's positive or whether it's negative, we still cause a reaction. And we've talked about this in other shows that I've had, right? We talked about the parts of the brain. You can go back and listen to that. But I think what's most important for all of us is knowing that touch is so vital. Like, let's say, for example, I pick up my phone right now, right? I can feel the phone with my hand. Even if my eyes are closed, I could feel the phone with my hand. Let's say I was to reach in my drawer here and I was to pick up a pair of my keys, some of the keys I have for the office. And so I could pick them up. I could feel that they're a little bit cold. I could take my finger and I could run them on the edge. I could also go back and forth on it. All right. Pretty cool. And also, I can get feeling with a lot of things. I also have this piece of felt here. Okay. Now, just seeing it doesn't give you much, but when you touch it, it has a very smooth, soft feeling to it. But not something I could relay. Just by seeing this, you can't get that sense. People ask me every day, John, is kinesthetic smell? Is kinesthetic smell? That's a good question. Right? Kinesthesia, sensory perceptions. So we feel it, right? So if we take this little thing I got, kind of like puff it a little bit with a little dog here, and I squeeze to experience the holidays. And it's a basically a green and white. You guys can see it here. If you guys can see that. Lifesaver. And it smells pretty amazing, right? And so the thing about this is very interesting is that they have a phrase on the back here that says, "May the sense of the holidays bring you joy." So when you take this and now this creates a connection in your brain. So that means every type of feeling creates a connection in our brain. Things we touch, right? If you touch a hot stove, you know not to touch that hot stove again, right? You get connections in the way you feel, like in your balance. We get connections with our body if we play sports. We get connections if we walk, if we run. And it's these connections that help us to be, what I want to say, more immersed in a situation. Now, I don't want to get too much into AI or metaverses, but what they're doing is they're bridging the gap of taking the physical world and the digital world and bringing them together in this like online community. But what's interesting about it is that they're trying to get our mind and body so immersed in what's going on. And when we do this, it's like it creates all these connections without us even thinking about it. So if I asked you this question right now, what are all the feelings of kinesthetic? So you can feel touch. There's also a loved one's caress. There's a handle hold. There's texture, like I explained, the touch. There's feeling. There's a grip. Like if I pick this phone, I'm gripping it. There's cuddling someone. There's hugging. There's rubbing. There's weight. So when I pick up this phone and I feel it, there's a weight, right? There is something that could be sticky. Maybe a pressure that's uncomfortable. We take our finger, we pull it back to it. That's a little uncomfortable, right? Those are pretty cool things, right? There is also what we call stifling. John, what the heck is stifling? Well, stifling is when you're made to feel like suffocated, or if you're claustrophobic. Okay. That's probably important. And so the more that we develop tactile, other sensations, proprioceptions, also there's things called visceral, right? Visceral could be something like relating to the nervous system, right? An inward feeling. We get this visceral charge. But I think the most important thing I want to share with you about kinesthetic is that most people go their entire life and they get programmed by these feelings, but they don't really know why they're going that way. It's like they happen, but if they want to change it, it's like, well, they don't know how. And I think if we were to take a few moments to understand how these patterns work, not just for ourselves, but for others, the world will be a much better place. A much better place. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And by having a much better place, we're able to, as I said, just like on the online world, be more immersive. So I know you're probably saying to me, John, so what the heck, what does immersive mean? Thought you'd never ask me that. Immersive, according to our good friends at Merriam-Webster, let's just read it right from them. Immersive is an adjective. Involving deep absorption or being directly part of something, such as an activity. If you were to bake a cake, for example, and you're just watching me bake the cake, well, you're not really immersive in it, are you? But I said, hey, grab some eggs, mix these with me, or you know what? When the dough comes out, go ahead and put some on the tray or take them off. That's being immersive. I think when we can get immersive with our bodies and our minds, the experiences become real because they are, but it sets a marker in our head that, you know what, that was a great experience. You see, we don't go out to dinner because we want good food. Well, we do, but we don't go out to dinner and pay more money for the same food we might be able to have home. It's the experience, right? The experience. So we're on this planet Earth to learn and experience all kinds of things. And so our kinesthesiology, our ability to have kinesthetics is quite remarkable. Taking my hands and just rubbing them together, I can feel temperature. We talked about sense. Sense can feel hot, can feel warm, it can feel cold, it can feel ice cold, right? We talked about weight. If I take, let's say, this tape holder, and I take my iPhone, I can easily see, right? If I hold them here, that this, you guys can see it on camera here a little better. The tape dispenser is a lot heavier than my iPhone. And so if you're trying to do something and a sense gets tapped, like kinesthetic sense, it's like we have this ability to, I'm going to call it bookmark it. Like, you bookmark a website, to bookmark the experience and come back to it a lot easier. So if I said to myself, gee, I remember what it was like holding that Scotch tape dispenser. I remember what it was like feeling the iPhone. I remember what it was like when I took that little card and I pressed it and it puffed. I could, feel it. I remember that. And then I enjoyed the sense of smell. So we've talked a lot about VAK and what they are, but what we have not done yet, we're going to do tomorrow, is we're going to put VAK together and teach you how you can actually learn from others, their patterns, how you can learn your own patterns, and how you can replay those patterns and get the results that you want. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for popping in here tonight. It is Thursday night, October 9th, 2023. And do click on the believemeachieve.com and make sure, ladies and gentlemen, to click on the link that says help keep our content free and make the choice. Buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we'll be grateful. Those pennies and dollars, we'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to have an amazing life. All right, guys, you know who I am. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I am a podcast host and a podcast coach and specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. And I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. They have a story that needs to be told. They need me to find the story. They want me to get it out there so people get curious about it. They'll ask questions, and yes, they'll want to choose to do business with them. Have yourself an amazing night, everyone. And I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow when we wrap up VAK and I give you the final secrets to what you need to unlock these true combinations and permutations to your vaults and others. Stay tuned, everyone.